Good day everyone, I'm Rain Venice A. Concepcion from BSIT 1-2. Today, I will be discussing the meaning of politics, governance, and citizenship at kung bakit ito mahalaga sa ating lipunan. Then, I will also go through the difference between the state and the government and the historical evolution of the Philippine political system. These concepts are important because they help us understand how society is organized, how decisions are made, and what role we play as citizens. First, let us define politics. Politics refers to the processes through which citizens and the government make collective decisions, exercise power, and resolve conflicts within society. Sa madaling salita, ito ang proseso kung paano nagkakaroon ng desisyon ang isang bansa. According to Harold Laswell, politics is about who gets what, when, and how. Ibig sabihin, sino ang nakikinabang, kailan, at paano. Politics also serve as a way to manage conflict. In any society, people and groups have different interests, values, and properties. Political processes like debate, negotiations, elections, and policymaking help reconcile these differences and maintain social order. Rather than removing conflict, politics channels it into a lawful processes that support stability and good governance. Sa madaling salita, ang politics ay tumutulong sa pag-manage ng mga pagkakaiba sa lipunan. Gumagawa ng laws, policies at programs para ayusin ang behavior ng society at mapabuti ang public welfare. Ito ay mahalaga dahil nakakaapekto ito sa iba't ibang aspeto ng buhay tulad ng economic development, social services, education, healthcare, at security. Kaya malinaw na ang politics ay may direktang epekto sa araw-araw nating buhay. Kabilang sa political processes ang pagdinig o paglilitis ng Senado sa mga matataas na opisyal ng gobyerno. Sa ganitong paraan na ipapakita ang accountability at nasisigurong ang mga leader ay mananagot sa kanilang mga aksyon. Sa itong halimbawa kung paano ginagamit ang politics para resolbahin ang issue at mapanatili ang kaayusan sa lipunan. Next is governance. Governance refers to how decisions are made and implemented. Hindi lang ng government kundi kasama ang private sectors at citizens. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang gobyerno ang may role na kailangang gampanan, kundi pati ang mga mamamayang nasasakupan nito. Governance is about how authority is used to run a country, going beyond just the formal government. It includes the way people, organizations, and the government work together to make policies and provide public services. It's not just top-down control anymore. Modern government emphasizes collaboration and participation. Good governance depends on strong institutions, clear rules, and active interaction between citizens and the state. In short, governance ay tungkol sa pakipagtulungan ng gobyerno, mga organisasyon, at mamamayan para mas maging maayos ang policies at public service. Mahalaga ang coordination at partnership dahil hindi kayang solusyonan ng gobyerno lamang ang problema sa lipunan, ekonomiya at kalikasan. Also, governance is important dahil dito nasusukat kung gaano kaayos at ka-effective ang pamamahala sa bansa. Lastly, citizenship. Citizenship is the relationship within the individual and the state. It defines a person's membership in a political community and establishes both their rights and responsibilities within society. Bilang mamamayan, may mga karapatan tayo tulad ng right to vote, freedom of expression or speech, at access to public services. Kasabay nito, may mga responsibilidad din tayo tulad ng pagsunod sa batas, pagbabayad ng buwis, at pakikilahok sa mga gawain ng komunidad. Citizenship is important because it allows individuals to actively participate in governance and decision-making processes. Hindi lang ito pagiging legal na miyembro ng isang bansa, kundi pagiging aktibo at responsabling mamamayan na may ambag sa kaunlaran ng lipunan. Halimbawa na lang nang mangyari ang COVID-19 pandemic. Agarang nagdesisyon ng gobyerno tungkol sa mga gaganaping lockdown at assistance. Pero mahalaga rin ang gampanin ng citizens, tulad ng pagsunod sa health protocols at pagpapabakuna upang maiwasan ang pagkalat ng sakit. Makikita natin na kailangan ang maayos na governance at responsableng citizenship para maging effective ang mga desisyon na nangyari sa loob ng isang estado. Now, let us differentiate the state and the government. Ang state ay ang permanent political entity. Binubuo ito ng territory, population, government, at sovereignty. Ito yung kabuuan ng isang bansa. Ang government naman ay ang grupo ng mga taong namumuno sa kasalukuyan. Sila ang gumagawa at nagpapatupad ng batas. This table shows the key differences between the state and the government, based on several aspects. First is nature. The state is a permanent political entity, meaning hindi ito nawawala kahit magbago ang leader. Samantalang ang government ay temporary administrative body or panandalian lang dahil napapalitan ito through elections or political changes. Next is composition. Ang state ay binubuo ng territory, population, government, at sovereignty. Sovereignty is the supreme power or authority of a state to govern itself without interference from outside forces. So, ibig sabihin, ang state ang kabuuang sistema ng isang bansa. Ang government naman ay binubuo ng officials at institutions na may authority. Sila ang mga nagpapatakbo na tao ng bansa. Continuity. Ang state ay continuous o tuloy-tuloy ang existence. Habang ang government ay nagbabago over time, depende kung sino ang mananalo, nanalo, o namumuno. Fourth is function. The state provides the framework of sovereignty. A state is the entity that defines and enforces a country's power and independence. It sets the rules, institutions, and authority that allows it to control its territory, make laws, and govern its people. Without a state, there's no official structure to claim or protect sovereignty. So the state is what gives a country the ability to act as a self-governing, independent entity. Ang government ang namamahala at nag-a-administer ng lipunan. Sila ang gumagawa ng batas at nagsisigurong na ipatutupad ito sa buong bansa. Sa madaling salita, ang government ay aktwal na nagpapatakbo at nagpapatupad ng rules para gumana ang lipunan. Lastly, stability. Ang state ay stable at enduring. Means matatag at pangmatagalan. Hindi ito basta-basta nawawala o nagbabago. Ito ay may permanenteng istruktura, mga batas at otoridad na nagpapanatili ng kaayusan at sovereignty sa lipunan sa loob ng mahabang panahon. Ang government ay subject to political change. Ito ay pabago-bago. Depende sa leadership at policies na ipinatutupad. Ang government ay dynamic at nagbabago. Kaya ito ang nagdadala ng bagong programs, batas at direksyon sa lipunan. The Philippines is the state. The state represents the framework of sovereignty, providing the structures, institutions, and authority necessary to maintain order, enforce laws, and govern the country over the long term. The stability means the state continues to exist regardless of changes in leadership, policies, or governance. On the other hand, the government is the current administration that governs and manages society. The present government is led by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., which implements laws, policies, and programs for the country. Kahit magbago ang presidente o mga opisyal, nananatili pa rin ang Pilipinas bilang isang state. Next is the historical evolution of the Philippine political system and how different periods shape the government we have today. Habang dinadaanan natin ng bawat period or era, makikita natin kung paano nagbago ang pamamahala sa Pilipinas from single community leadership to a complex democratic system. Pre-colonial period before 1565. Before colonization, the Philippines was already organized into small self-sufficient communities called barangays. Each barangay was led by a datu, who served not only as the political leader of the but also as the judge and military protector of the group. The datu was responsible for maintaining peace and order, settling disputes, and ensuring the safety of the community for external threats. Leadership was often based on wisdom, bravery, and influence rather than just inheritance, which meant that respect had to be earned and maintained. Governance during this time was decentralized. Walang iisang national government na nagko-control sa buong bansa. Instead, each barangays functioned independently. guided by its own customs, traditions, and set of laws. Despite this independence, barangays could form alliance with one another, especially to trade or protection, showing early forms of political cooperation and diplomacy. What's interesting here is that early Filipinos already practiced a form of participatory governance, hindi lang basta utos ng dato. There was consultations with elders and other respected members of the community before making important decisions. This indicates that leadership was not purely authoritarian, but involved a degree of shared decision-making. Social classes also existed, including the Maharlika, Timawa, and Alipin. Overall, even before foreign influence, Filipinos had a structured and functioning political system rooted in cooperation, leadership, and social responsibility, which reflects a strong sense of community and governance. Ang mga sinaunang gawain, pamamahala na ito ay naglatag ng pundasyon para sa makabagong sistema ng barangay na nananatiling pinakamaliit na political unit sa Pilipinas hanggang sa kasalukuyan. Spanish colonial period 1565 to 1898. During the Spanish period, a centralized government was established under the Gobernador General, na ang authority ay nanggagaling sa Spain. Political power was concentrated in Manila, kaya doon nakafocus ang pamamahala ng bansa. Malaki rin ang papel ng Catholic Church sa government and governance, sa pangunguna ng mga praile. Dahil madalas na naapektuhan nito ang political decisions at araw-araw na buhay ng mga tao, a phenomenon known as phreelocracy. Spain introduced formal government institutions such as alcaldes mayores or provincial governors, gobernador silos or municipal leaders, cabezas de barangay or barangay heads. This hierarchy reinforced colonial control. Filipinos had very limited participation in governance. So yes, may sistema, but mainly para mampanatili ang kapangyarihan ng mga nananakop. Still, exposure to Western political ideas ang unti-unting nagmulat sa mga Pilipino, inspiring them to question colonial rule at magsimulang maghangad ng kalayaan. Miguel Lopez de Legazpi was the first Gobernador General during 1565 up until 1572, establishing Spanish rule in Cebu and later Manila. Other notable Gobernador Generals include Guido de Labezares, Jose Vasco y Vargas, Narciso Claveria, Carlos Maria de la Torre, Rafael de Izquierdo, and the last Gobernador General is Diego de los Rios. Revolutionary government in the Malolos Republic happened during 1898 to 1901. The Philippine Revolution against Spain ended with the Declaration of Independence on June 12, 1898, under the leadership of Emilio Aguinaldo in Kawit, Cavite. After independence, Filipino leaders established the First Philippine Republic, also known as the Malolos Republic, in 1899. The Republic adopted the Malolos Constitution, one of the first republican constitutions in Asia. Key political principles introduced during this period included popular sovereignty or the power of the people, representative democracy, a government with elected representatives, separation of power or division of authority among three branches, which is the legislative, executive, and judicial, civil liberties or basic rights of citizens. These rights often considered negative rights because they limit state power, ensure personal freedom such as speech, privacy, and religion, and are typically safeguarded by a nation's constitution or Bill of Rights. The Malolos government set up a legislative assembly as work to institutionalize democratic governance. However, the republic was short-lived due to the Philippine-American War, which led to American colonial control. Despite its brief existence, the Malolos Republic was an important milestone in the Philippines' political history, demonstrating early Filipino aspirations for self-governance and democratic rule. American colonial period, 1901 to 1946. The American colonial government significantly reshaped the Philippine political system by introducing democratic institutions and modern administrative structures. Sa ilalim ng American rule, maraming pagbabago ang ipinatupad para maayos at mas organisado ang pamahalaan. Katulad ng democratic political institutions, the United States introduced a representative government through elected assemblies and legislative bodies, giving Filipinos a chance to participate in decision-making. Electoral processes. regular elections were implemented, allowing Filipino leaders to be elected and actively take part in governments. Ito ang nagpayabong ng konsepto ng participatory politics sa bansa. Public education system. The American administration established a nationwide public education system to promote civic participation and democratic values. Sa pamamagitan ng edukasyon, natutunan ng mga Pilipino ang kahalagahan ng karapatang pantao, citizenship at aktibong partisipasyon sa lipunan. Professional bureaucracy. The Americans institutionalized civil service reforms to promote merit-based public administration. Ibig sabihin ng mga opisyal at empleyado ng gobyerno ay pinili base sa kakayahan at kwalifikasyon, hindi lamang sa ugnayan o impluensya. Overall, the American colonial period introduced structures and practices that laid the groundwork of the Philippine modern governance. Habang dahan-dahang itinuturo ito sa mga Pilipino, ang halaga ng demokrasya at responsableng pamumuno. During the American colonial period, the United States gradually introduced reforms para ihanda ang Pilipinas sa self-government. Dalawang importanteng batas ang inailunsad, ang Jones Law of 1916 at ang Tydings-McDuffie Act of 1934. Ito ang naging susi sa pagtransisyon ng bansa mula sa colonial rule patungo sa independence. These laws allowed Filipinos to participate more government at naglatag ng mga institusyon para sa democratic governance na nagbigay daan sa future ng Pilipinas bilang isang self-governing nation. Jones Law or Philippine Autonomy Act of 1916. The Jones Law expanded Filipino participation in government by creating a fully elected legislature. It also promised eventual independence once a stable government was established. The law was enacted by the U.S. Congress as a significant step toward giving the Philippines greater political self-rule. It declared that the U.S. intended to grant independence once a stable government was in place. One more major effect of Jones Law was increasing Filipino involvement in government. It recognizes the Philippine legislature into a fully elected bicameral system, made up the Philippine Senate and the House of the Representatives. Bago ito, ang upper chambers ay may mga miyembrong appointed mula sa American administration. By letting Filipinos elect both chambers, the law reinforced democratic practices and gave Filipino leaders greater responsibility in policymaking and governance. This nurtured a generation of leaders who would later play a crucial role sa pagsulong ng bansa tungo sa independence. The law also signaled a shift in U.S. policy, from direct control to preparing the Philippines for self-governance, responding to increasing Filipino demands for independence and democratic rule. This law was important because it shifted control gradually to Filipinos. Hindi pa fully independent ang Pilipinas noon, pero malaking hakbang ito toward self-governance and political maturity. The Tydings-McDuffie Act, or Philippine Independence Act of 1934. This law or act, also called the Philippine Independence Act, marked an important step in the Philippines' journey toward independence. This law set a 10-year period for transitional government called the Commonwealth of the Philippines, giving the country time to prepare for full self-rule. Under the act, the Philippines was allowed to draft its own constitution and form a national government. Ibig sabihin, binigyan ng mga Pilipino ng pagkakataon na pamahalaan ang sariling bansa at maghanda para sa ganap na kalayaan. The law also set rules for economic and military arrangement between the United States and the Philippines. During this transition, the creation of the Commonwealth government gave Filipino leaders more control over domestic affairs while still under American supervision. Sa panahong ito, nakapili na ang mga Pilipino ng kanilang sariling presidente at nakapagtayo ng mga pambansang institusyon para palakasin ang gobyerno at demokrasya. The Commonwealth government was led by President Manuel L. Quezon, who focused on building the nation through economic development, preparing for national defense, and implementing social reforms. Ang kanyang pamumuno ay nakatulong sa pagpapalakas ng bansa at paghahanda sa tunay na kalayaan. The 1935 Constitution. One of the most important outcomes of the Tydings-McDuffie Act was the drafting and ratification of the 1935 Constitution, which became the Philippines' first complete framework for self-governance. This constitution laid the foundation for a presidential system similar to that of the United States, designed to separate powers among three branches of government to prevent abuse of authority. Executive branch, pinamumunuan ng presidente at responsable sa pagpapatupad ng mga batas, pati na rin ang pang-araw-araw na pamamahala ng gobyerno. Legislative branch, gumagawa ng mga batas at kumakatawan sa interes ng mamamayan sa pambansang antas. Judicial branch, nagpapatupad ng hustisya, nagpapaliwanag ng mga batas, at tinitiyak na sumusunod ang lahat sa konstitusyon. The Constitution also introduced key democratic practices, tulad ng regular elections, civil liberties protections, at representative institutions na nagbibigay daan sa mas aktibong partisipasyon ng mga Pilipino sa politika. Kahit na ang Commonwealth government ay nasa ilalim pa rin ng American government, nagsisilbi itong practical training ground para sa mga Pilipinong leader at institusyon. Dito natutunan nila kung paano magpatakbo ng gobyerno, magdisenyo ng mga polisiya at maghanda para sa tunay na kalayaan na natamo ng bansa noong July 4, 1946. Ang 1935 Constitution at ang Commonwealth period ay hindi lang naglatag ng legal na pundasyon para sa bansa, kundi nagsilbi ring eskwela ng pamumuno para sa mga Pilipino bago tuloy ang maging ganap na malaya. Philippine Independence Day is celebrated on June 12 because that's when Emilio Aguinaldo declared independence from Spain in 1898, marking the true start of Filipino freedom. Originally, it was July 4, the date that US recognized independence in 1946. But President Diosdado Macapagal moved it to honor the Filipino struggle. Today, July 4 is just a regular working day, remembering the Treaty of Manila. Post-independence and the 1987 Constitution. After gaining full independence from the United States on July 4, 1946, the Philippines entered the Third Republic. Sa simula, the country adopted democratic governance with elected leaders. But then, nanatili ang political instability at economic challenges. A major turning point came in 1972 when President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. declared martial law, concentrating power in the executive branch and suspending democratic institutions. Resulta nito ang paglimita sa civil liberties, pagsupil sa political oppositions, at pagtaas ng kapangyarihan ng presidente. Democracy was restored after the EDSA People Power in 1986, which led to the ousting of Marcos Sr. at pagtatatag ng bagong demokratikong pamahalaan. The 1987 Constitution was ratified to establish the current political system, providing separation of power among executive, legislative, and judicial branches, protection of human rights, checks and balances, independent constitutional commissions, and mechanisms for citizen participation. Mahalaga ito dahil nagsilbi itong matibay na pundasyon para sa demokrasya. Tumutulong sa pagprotekta ng karapatang pantao at nagbibigay ng paraan para makilahok ang mamamayan sa pamahalaan. Hanggang ngayon, ang 1987 Constitution na nagsisilbing pangunahing legal framework ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas. The Local Government Code of 1991 or Republic Act No. 7160 marked a major shift in the Philippine governance by promoting decentralization, transferring key powers from the national government to LGUs or local government units. Binigyan ang LGUs ng control sa local planning, public services, fiscal management at local taxation para mas maayos nilang mapamahalaan ang kanilang komunidad. Mas napalapit ang gobyerno sa tao. Instead of everything being controlled nationally, local governments now play a bigger role in development in governments. The law also strengthened citizen participation through local development councils, barangay assemblies, and people's organization, giving residents a stronger voice sa local decision-making. Sa pamamagitan ng decentralization, naging mas responsive, accountable, at participatory ang pamahalaan, at mas lumapit ito sa mamamayan. This reform is important dahil pinayagan nito ang LGUs na direktang tugunan ang pangangailangan ng kanilang komunidad. Nagbibigay ng pagkakataon sa mamamayan na makilahok sa mga desisyon at pinapalakas ang demokrasya sa pamamagitan ng accountability. Ngayon, ang LGUs ang pangunahing katuwang ng pambansang gobyerno sa pagpapatupad ng mga patakaran at pagsulong ng lokal na kaundaran. Today, the Philippine government continues to evolve through reforms such as digital governance, transparency initiatives, and anti-red tape laws. Hindi pa rin perfect ang system, it's obvious. But these changes aim to make governance more efficient, responsive, and accountable to the people. In conclusion, the Philippine political system evolved through different historical periods, combining indigenous practices, colonial influences, and democratic principles. Sa madaling salita, ang sistema natin ngayon ay produkto ng mahabang proseso ng pagbabago. And whether we like it or not, all these historical experiences continue to shape how the country is governed today. Ipinapakita na lahat ng nagdaang pagbabago at pananakop sa Pilipinas na mas nagiging matatag at maayos ang isang bansa kapag nagkakaisa ang mga mamamayan nito.